When we're performing music or writing songs, it's really useful to be able to easily play chords. When it comes to playing chords with gestures in Glover, there's a simple way to do that, and it's called the chord machine. Let's get into it. So inside Glover, I'm going to add another scene. I'm going to click here with the plus button next to scenes. And I'm going to click on it, and you can see it's empty. And I'm going to call this scene chords. So what we're going to do, we're going to add the chord machine to this scene. So to do that, we go up to this sort of keyboard icon, and then there's two little instruments in here, and I'm going to select the chord machine. So it's popped up there. So you can now, if you click on there, you can see it in the inspector. So what can you see here? You've got a keyboard, and this is where we can kind of program in our chords. We've got 12 different chords, so this is where we can select the chords that we're programming. And this is where we can drag in inputs from a device so that we can control it. So to begin with, I'm just going to go into Ableton Live and set up a sound. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to go to Instruments. And we're going to choose this sort of Juno pad. So here I'm just going to send the output to music. You don't need to do this. This is just so that you're able to hear the instrument when it's coming in. So what we're going to do, we are going to go back into here, and I'm selected here on chord number 1, and I'm going to program in a chord. And it automatically picks up that it's a C minor. And then I'm going to click on chord 2, and you see all the notes disappear, right? And then I'm going to program in a second chord. So I can now select the first chord and the second chord. So that's pretty cool. So what we really want to do now is to control this using our device. So to control this with the device, I'm going to go and go to Leap Motion and my postures, and I'm going to get the posture fist, and I'm going to select the C minor chord, and I'm just going to drag the fist in here. Okay. So now whenever I make a fist, it will play that chord. I'm going to select the D major chord. I'm going to drag in one finger point. So if I make a one finger point, it will play that. And if I make a fist, it will play the other one. And I can just sort of swap between them. And it really doesn't get much more complicated than that. So you've got 12 different chords here. You could map them all out. You can combine these postures with other things as well. So you could use the sort of the tilt of your palm if you wanted, or other qualifiers. There's a few things we can look at in here. So we've got these semitone plus and minus buttons, so that they let us basically adjust the notes that are played in here, so we don't have to reprogram everything if we want to change the key that something's in. We've got the velocity of the notes. The note spread basically allows us to spread the notes out over time rather than having them all happen at once. So something else that's important is the MIDI channel. So you want to make sure that the MIDI channel is either correct for the place you're sending it to, or if you've got multiple instruments, that they're sending to different MIDI channels so that you can tell them apart inside your software. So for example, I could set this to MIDI channel 8, and then I could basically make sure that Ableton Live is listening only on MIDI channel 8, and that way it won't get confused with something else sending on channels 9, 10, or whatever, right? I can also, where it says to Glover, so Glover is our kind of MIDI output, which is sending to other things on your computer, but you can select something else here. So this is my audio interface. So I can send the MIDI message to my audio interface. And basically, if I'm connecting some MIDI hardware to my audio interface, then it can receive those MIDI messages too. So we can send things to hardware as well as to software. So the last thing really, we should just give this a name. So this is our sort of Juno. And let's give it a color, because it all makes it look nice. So we'll make this one kind of an orangey color. And yeah, that's really our, as far as it goes to playing chords with the chord machine.